We're here in historic downtown Owego looking for some beer, and I think we found our place.
But before we find out what's on tap here inside the FarmHouse Brewery, we have to head to Newark Valley to the brewhouse to check out how the beer is made for all 25 taps here. Across the nation, people have turned the hobby of crafting beer into a lifestyle. Amazing breweries are only a few minutes away from your own home.
From nano to regional or micro to macro, the question you won't need to ask is what's on tap. The FarmHouse Brewery opened their doors back in 2014, but before owner Marty Mattrazzo could open the brewery, to make beer with all New York ingredients, Marty had to start his own malt house.
There was no malt houses in New York State at the time. The closest malt house was in Massachusetts, so we saw that as something that was needed in New York. To open the brewery, we knew we wanted to do all New York State ingredients, and there wasn't any New York malt. Without shipping it 6 hours east and then 6 hours back west. So we decided to open our own malt house and start malting our own grain. And so we did that for a while. We malted for other people for about 2 years until we got the brewery up and going, and then needed the capacity for ourselves.
For Marty, starting up the brewery wasn't the original plan, but when the opportunity was presented, he bet on himself.
So it was kind of forced. I worked for a juice company in West Coast, and I got to the point where I was allowed to work from home, so I moved back here. And as soon as I moved back here, the company was bought. I can use my severance to go back to school and then update my nerd skills and nerd for somebody else until I get laid off there, or I can take that money and pour it into myself. Yeah. So that's what we did. I took my severance and my 401k and we built this. And so, risked it all, baby. Yeah. So it's all or nothing. And so it comes down to, my success comes down to me now, not whether or not someone else is doing something where I need to be, they run out of money, need to lay me off or whatever.
Things have turned out great for Marty. Betting on himself has paid off. The easiest part of the process was coming up with a name.
I moved around the country for 25 years. When I moved back, I bought a 43-acre farm in Berkshire. So we have an old 1850s farmhouse. And so when I was home brewing there, the home brewery, we just called it the FarmHouse Brewery. And so they just kind of followed. We decided just to keep that name with the brewery as we made it professional. We do a lot of farmhouse style beers. If I could do one thing, if I could pay my bills only making Belgian style beers, I'd do that. But you can't. So, so we started in a little town of Owego, and there's not enough depth there for such a specialized style. Yeah. So we immediately started making more, cream ales and porters and stouts and all that as well. But keeping the tradition of, whatever starches we can find on the farm, we would incorporate.
After making all these different beers, the question we want to know is, what is Marty's favorite?
Hey, everybody says that. I like beer. I know it sounds crazy, but I light beer, dark beer, IPAs, sours. I like beer. So that's why when we get to the tap room, you'll see we have 18 to 20 beers on at a time. We usually have 4 or 5 light colored beers, 4 or 5 dark beers, a handful of sour beers, and a couple IPAs. When people push, my second answer is my favorite beer is the one in my hand. And my second favorite beer is the one I'm about to have. And I'll take home from my own brewery. We'll take everything from, I'll take a Pilsner home one night, I'll take the double IPA home the next night, I'll take a stout or a quad, or, I like I like beer. I don't stick to one style.
Beer-wise, IPAs have been rather rare in the FarmHouse Brewery. It all comes down to what's available to brew with.
We haven't been known as the IPA brewery because traditionally the first several years we only had like one on at a time. Yeah. Just because there wasn't a lot of New York hops. And we got to use as much New York State ingredients as we can, even with the hops.
So now that we found out what you're brewing, can you kind of give us a look at how it's going so far?
Absolutely. You want to go look?
Yeah, let's go take a look. Follow us.
Half our fermenters are full right now. The first one, we have a pre-prohibition lager. We made it with all New York State ingredients and a 4-barrel batch. We used 50 pounds of New York State corn, whole corn. It's using a Belgian style with a lager yeast where we had to do a cereal mash. We soaked the dried cracked corn overnight, and then we have to boil it for a while before we add it to the mash. So that adds a bit of difficulty of the day as you're trying to get the day going, but you got to sit there and boil your corn first. So that's going. It's cold crash as well. We have Crazy Daisy as our Belgian triple. it's definitely our most popular. It's 100% New York State ingredients. We use 60 pounds of honey in a 7-barrel batch. It's all, like I said, it's all New York State. It's bubble gummy, it's yummy, it's really light and blonde. People love it. It's one of our most popular beers.
And once you get into the fermentation process, how long can people expect until they're able to drink this?
Yeah, it depends. So anyways, from a cream ale, it could be 7 to 10 days. For the lager, it's about 3 weeks. This one too, the yeast takes forever to drop out. It's done fermenting in 7 to 10 days, but then the Belgian yeast using this takes probably another 2 weeks just to get the yeast to drop out so it's clear so we can serve it. Yeah. That's the biggest pain in the butt with this one. Just sits there forever waiting for it to clarify.
What's being filled up in here?
This one's going to be our carrot cake cream ale. So
I gotta try that. You gotta let me know because I'll be back for that.
We get a couple bushels of local carrots from a farmer, and we dice them up and roast them, and then mash them up and throw them in the mash tun. And then a little cinnamon, a little vanilla in the fermenter post fermentation. And it's very popular. I made it on a whim last year, and we sold out 2 batches.
Wow.
I made one batch that was gone like in a week. I was like, I guess I should make more of that. So we made more of it, and it's typically.
I guess I better make sure.
Yeah. So we have barrels. We do.
Oh yeah.
We can do in the barrels. We have both. Back here and over here, we have some wild fermentation going on. We do a Crazy Daisy. We barrel age our Crazy Daisy, our Belgian triple, on wine skins, on grape skins, and it gives a little purple. And that aging process, the Brett will slowly eat away those grape skins. Yeah. It's amazing at the end of 6 months to a year, there's no more skins left. There's just some seeds left at the bottom of the barrel. But it adds a lot of color, a lot of flavor, a lot of complexity doing it that way.
Everything Marty brews is pretty unique. He has some really great beers, a lot of talent. We enjoy trying the new stuff. Even the styles that we don't care for, I always try them because he's got a unique flavor for things.
All right, so we've seen how the beer is made. Now I'm ready to start tasting it.
Yeah, let's head inside.
I'm having a blind alpaca. It's a porter. It's one of my favorite places to come in the southern tier. Great atmosphere. We can bring the dogs in. They sit here with us. Everyone gets along. It's a fun place.
So we got to talk with Marty. We've seen how the beer is made. I'm ready to start tasting it.
I am too. I think it's time for us to pour 4. What are you thinking? All right, he's in
down.
too. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, Marty, so we've checked out the brewery and we've seen the beer you're making. So you have put out 4 samples here for what you got on tap. And let's just go one by one.
First one is the Don't Miss a Beat. We start as a Saison base. So all these beers are all 100% New York State ingredients. So we use just our Pilsner malt we use in this that we make. And then after fermentation, we add local beets. So you get the color, you get a bit of earthiness. I think that earthiness from the beets works really well with the Saison yeast.
I did not expect this. I don't know why. I expected it to be super sweet. It's not super sweet, but it has that beet flavor, and I love it. I love how this is. Yeah.
I like that it finishes really nice. The Saison yeast helps it finish really dry and cleans your palate, and it kind of really draws you back for a second drink of it.
Yeah, and the color is just captivating too. That was, as soon as you brought it over, my eyes were drawn right to this beer.
It's got a great color.
I think because of the color, my taste buds went in thinking it was going to be a sour. Right. So it kind of prepared for that, and then it came out sweet and, like you said, a little bit earthy with the taste of the beets, but it's delicious.
Good. Yeah, I really like this one. The first batch we made, I just wanted to look at it, add color. Yeah. And I had no idea what I was doing, and I added way too many beets. I didn't skin them, and it was so earthy. And I could sit behind the bar and drink maybe 2 sips in front of people. Oh yeah, that's our beet beer. I couldn't have finished. So we pulled it back. This is the 5th or 6th time we made it, and I really like where we've dialed it in with the beet flavor and the color.
Yeah, you found that sweet spot for it, that's for sure.
All right, so number 2.
Crazy Daisy. It's a Belgian triple. It's pretty much our flagship. When we first started, never expected a 9.5% beer to be our flagship, but people are just drawn to it. It's always our best seller every month, whether by the pint or the growler.
Yeah.
That's that. Oh, that bubble gum.
That's
Right
what
away. That's what I'm getting. That's
I'm feeling the
amazing.
bubble gum at the end.
Yep.
But definitely banana.
You get the
I
banana in the
recommend
nose, and
bananas.
at the beginning you get the bubble gum in the finish. 100% New York State, we use a lot of local honey.
I like how, especially the New York State, it's all local stuff. This is, when you're coming here, you are getting a New York State brewed beer.
Exactly, yep. It's not just brewed locally. We're not just your local brewery that's brewing locally using world-class ingredients. We're using all local. This is what New York State tastes like. This is a New York State beer. This is our Belgian quad. It's one of my favorites. It's 12% alcohol, made with all New York State ingredients as well. It's using the same yeast as the Crazy Daisy, but fermented a little differently. So again, we don't use any roasted malt in there. It's this highly roasted caramel malts. So it doesn't get that stout or porter kind of dark flavor.
I don't mean to throw it off and say sour-y, but that kind of,
It does have a bit of a tartness to it.
That's hard.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
that's the word.
It just keeps you coming back for more. Right. It's an addicting beer.
And I hate to say last but not least here,
So this is Crazy Daisy Went Wild. It's our Belgian triple that was barrel aged on grape skins. So it develops a lot of flavor. This is definitely one of my favorite sours that we make.
yeah.
So it spends usually about a year in the barrel, developing a lot of flavor, and it just has a lot of complexity. You get the grapeness, you get
Whole year to make this.
yeah. It's something special. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, this is worth the year wait. You still get subtle banana, but it's just the tartiness to it as well. It just blends together perfectly.
You get a little bit of that, the tartness and the grape are in the back of your tongue.
Yeah.
Really come in.
And it's a lot more clear than you get with the Crazy Daisy, the original one. And
So it sits in the barrel for a year, and the Brettanomyces is not only eating the grape skins, but it's eating up the dead Saccharomyces cells as well, creating all those nuanced flavors that are in there.
If someone, different brewery around here wants to get farmhouse beer on their tap, a different bar, for instance, how do they get a hold of you?
Just call me. Go to our Facebook or website. My number's right there. That number is me. So you call that the number on the website. You're talking to the owner.
Just a really friendly place to drink excellent beer.
It's a great place. We love to bring the dogs here and just hang out and have fun beverages.
This wraps up our day here at FarmHouse Brewery, and what a day it has been. Some amazing beer, and just going through the whole process with Marty was awesome. We can't thank you guys enough for watching.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter so you can see where our journey takes us next on What's on Tap. Cheers.
That was it.
Okay. I think we need to stay consistent with that last line.
Thank you. Yes,
We're going for cute and good. That was perfect.